Broadcasting live from the gingerbread cabin on the plain of Eldraine, this is Tap Tap Concede. Graham here.
And I'm Nelson.
And it's just the two of us today because Cameron is unwell, which is also why this episode is not going to be the Eldraine nicknames, because we want him to suffer through it too.
Yeah, we're not letting Cam get away from the Eldraine nickname episode just because he had a cough.
I've been laid out for a week with a horrible, horrible cold. That means I don't have to do the nicknames episode, right? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, with any luck, when this airs, Cameron will, around the same time, be doing some home streams because he misses y'all and feeling better and standing up and breathing with his face.
That'll be nice.
Doing all the things that humans like.
Face breathing.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be next week. Today, Nelson and I are going to talk a little bit about Eldraine Limited, specifically on Arena.
Yeah.
And the October State of Arena update. Before we get into that, of course, a reminder that this is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. That lets them know that we sent you, and we do that because we think they're great. Excellent customer service, very, very fast shipping. And if you let them know, loading ready run sent me, button please, they'll give you a little 1-inch button, which currently says, I knew it and now it's escaped my brain. We just retweeted it like yesterday because I just got the new batch in.
James is furiously trying to figure out which button it is that you're going to get
searching.
If you buy some cards and tell them the loading ready run sent me.
You'll get a button that says, I don't think we can lose.
Right. I don't think we can lose.
Nice. That's a good LRR button.
And then
right
and then we lose. Also, this show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. If you're watching this video on our LRR YouTube channel, please subscribe.
You did this.
We would appreciate that to assist with our numbers.
Thanks for subscribing.
All right. Let's start with a crack-a-pack.
Let's crack a pack.
Roll the big old D20.
We're going to roll it. I'm just going to throw it off the table.
Yeah, go for it. Goodbye. Bounce, bounce, bounce.
I can't even see it.
Lucky
it's gone
number
forever.
Lucky number 13.
Perfect.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
We could talk about Eldraine Limited on Arena and not if you want to. We could maybe.
Oh yeah, no, I just have some
differences.
specific thoughts about Arena.
Let's see this beautiful box.
It's a pack of Zendikar.
Fun.
This pack of Zendikar, pre-labeled, was given to us by Bob, aka Anonymousless, by hand at C2E2 when we were in Chicago.
I might be able to go 15 for 15 on names.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I drafted this one a lot.
It's an unplanned episode of
Stump Nelly. Yeah.
Stump the Salahub. All right.
Yeah.
Ruinous Minotaur is first.
Oh, already I feel terrible about my life choices. Okay, red, 1 generic, 4/2. When this enters the battlefield, sacrifice it or sacrifice a land.
No.
Aww.
You're getting confused with that.
Stumped immediately.
With that tiger. So it's a 5/2?
5/2.
And no, it's worse. It's whenever it deals damage to an opponent, sacrifice a land.
Okay. I was medium close. All right.
Stonework Puma is next.
3 generic, 2/2. This is an ally.
Yes.
Text ally cat construct maybe.
Correct. Cat ally.
Cat ally.
This is the generic colorless ally that can go into any ally deck and doesn't do anything itself, which is why no one ever played it.
Wrong. You did play it in ally decks because
really?
Allies
in limited
were a part of the limited format. So if you're triple Zendikar, you honestly, the Ruinous Minotaur might be the first pick, but you usually just want to be something Mardu, not like all 3, but like either a mono white, mono red, mono black, or a 2-color deck that is those colors, and you don't want to play green blue. But you might end up being like green X allies, and you might end up playing this. So far, it's the first pick.
Wow. All right. Well,
but we're hoping for a Heartstabber Mosquito or a Nighthawk.
What about Hideous End?
That's black, and a generic for an instant. Destroy target creature. Its controller loses 2 life.
You're missing a single word.
Shoot. It's not arcane. They lose 2 life, and so do I?
No, only one word you're missing.
Destroy target creature. Destroy target
non-black creature. Yes.
Of course. It's funny, as I was saying it, I'm like, wait, this is better murder. That seems wrong, but then I couldn't remember.
No, it's like different Doomblade.
Yeah, right. Remember when black had a hard time killing black creatures?
Yeah.
That was neat.
That was weird.
It was a big part of Magic's history.
Grazing Gladeheart.
2 generic and a green for a 2/2 creature type elk or antelope. It might be an antelope. And whenever a land enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life.
It is an antelope.
Under your control.
Yeah, you
it is an
nailed
antelope?
it.
Cool.
Yeah, landfall, gain 2 life, and it is absolutely an antelope.
This one's a bit of a cheat because like it's a combo. Also, like it had Surge has played it in Highlander.
Core Cartographer.
1 generic and 1. Oh wait, no. 3 generic and 1 white for a 2/2. When this enters the battlefield, find a plains from your library and put it in play tapped.
Yes, it was a core scout with all the things that you said. Surakar Marauder.
1 black and 1 generic for a 2/1. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, this gains fear.
So close.
Oh, okay.
It's not fear, it's intimidate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There was like,
Black intimidate, aka fear.
when we went back and had a battle for Zendikar, there was like ones of Surakar. Like, there
Yeah.
was not, the Surakar did not really show up to the battle for Zendikar. Did
Maybe they didn't do well against the Eldrazi and they got all wiped out or something. I don't know.
There was like 1 or 2. James is looking at it right
There's
now.
some in Rise of the Eldrazi. I remember there's a blue one that like draws cards and has charge counters.
Were
or
there
something.
any in Battle for Zendikar?
Wait, no, that was from Rise.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that's the Rise
James
of the
is
Eldrazi
saying
one.
no. Weird.
Okay.
All right. Oran Reef Recluse.
That's 2 generic and a green for a 1/4 spider with reach and kicker. 2 generic and a green. If you paid the kicker, you may destroy a creature with flying.
Everything was correct except the toughness, which is merely 3. But
it's a 1/3,
yes.
not a 1/4. Okay.
So yeah, it's a 1/3 with reach for 3, and the kicker is another 3, and you can just kill the flyer.
Yeah.
If you pay the kicker. Goblin Bushwhacker.
Oh, it's an easy one, of course. And also, hey, we made money on our pack. 1 red for a 1/1 goblin with kicker, pay a red, and if the kicker cost was paid, creatures you control gain +2 or +1, +0, and haste until end of turn.
That is correct. Is Bushwhacker a?
It's a modern card.
Really?
Yeah, there's a 8 whack deck.
8 whack.
And actually, it was a standard card too, and it's a Highlander card. It's just a good card.
Nice. What's it going for?
I don't know, but more
It's
than
like a couple bucks.
Yeah,
but
more-
it's more than most commons, right? Like,
more than
enough.
50 cents is what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Yeah.
Hedron Scrabbler.
The Scrabbler is a crab, right? Hedron Scrabbler, not regular Hedron crab. Scrabbler. Oh no. Okay, I think it's an artifact creature, 2 mana, 2 generic, and it's a 1/1 with landfall. This just gets +1/+1.
That is it. Nailed it. Very good job.
Cool.
Little Scrabbles.
Yeah.
Ondu Cleric.
Oh, that's easy. This card was sort of broken in I mean, bad draft deck mirror matches. So if you hit it with Rite of Application, you gain like 1,000,000 life.
Oh, right.
So it's 1 generic and 1 white for Core Priest, and it's a 1/1 with the like ally clause. Whenever this or another ally enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to the number of allies you control.
Yeah. Core Cleric, technically. But
Core
that's-
Cleric,
I mean, I
ally.
don't think Priest is actually a subtype.
Might be.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, so right. So Rite of Replication, you make 5 of these, and then it's just like
All the triggers go on the stack, and you gain
Whoa.
all the life. Yeah.
Marsh Casualties is next.
2 black for a sorcery. Creatures target player controls get -1/-1 until end of turn, and there's a kicker of the base cost is black. So I think the kicker is just 3 generic, and if you paid the kicker, they get -2/-2 instead.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, I've actually played this in Constructed too.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very good. Here's one you'll probably know as well. Punishing Fire.
Oh, right. Another easy modern card. So 1 generic and 1 red for an instant. Deal 2 damage to target creature or player. And a second triggered ability that's whenever an opponent gains life, you may pay a red mana to return Punishing Fire from the battle or from the graveyard to your hand.
That is correct. That was that and the Grove of the Burn Willows combo. Yeah.
Yeah, still a combo. It's legal in Modern. It was popular in either Modern or Extended. I think it was popular in Modern for a little while. It was, in some kind of Big Jund deck. Yeah, hasn't seen too much action lately, I don't think. I don't think it's banned.
I don't think so.
Okay. It's just too slow for Modern now. Yeah.
Quest for the Gem Blades.
Quest for the Gem Blades.
Not the most exciting
No,
quest.
I believe this is the green. Is it a green card?
It's the green one.
So it's 1 generic and 1 green for an enchantment. And whenever, oh boy, Yeah, so you can, I believe it's like you can sacrifice it once it has enough counters to like distribute 4+1/+1 counters or put them all on one creature.
It's 4 counters on one creature.
4 counters on one creature. Now, how do you get the counters? I'm going to guess I want to say it's either creatures or lands entering the battlefield. Is it just lands? Is it just landfall?
No, it's weird.
Okay,
It's,
all right. I didn't remember this one.
Whenever
Sorry.
a creature you control deals combat damage to a creature,
Oh, wow. Okay.
you may put a quest counter on Quest for the Gemblades. Also, remove a quest counter
Oh,
and
it's only
sacrifice
one.
it. You
It's
only
only
need
one.
one counter.
Okay.
To get that to go off.
So probably not a terrible card, but I don't know that
if
I've
you
ever
have 2
cast it.
creatures and one of them has first strike, bang bang.
Yeah.
And our rare, it's a mythic.
Good. Obsidian Fireheart?
No.
Darn.
Eldrazi Monument.
Easy one. So we got 5. I mean, I guess I probably know all the mythics, but it's 5 generic for an artifact with 2 abilities. One of them is creatures you control get +1/+1, flying, and indestructible. And sacrifice a creature at the beginning of your upkeep. And I believe if you can't sacrifice this,
Yeah, is correct.
cool.
And then we got a forest.
I played this set a lot. Thanks for
job.
indulging me.
Wow, yeah.
Sitting through all that.
That was really, really strong.
I didn't know Ruinous Minotaur.
Yeah,
Or I was close. I was like, this is some unplayable garbage that makes you sacrifice lands and that's 2 toughness, right?
Yeah, you were close on Ruinous Minotaur.
And I forgot
and a-
non-black on Hideous End and got the
and like a
toughness one
little
on the
off on
spider.
Quest for the Gemblades. But
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
Quest of Gemblades.
that was
straight up.
That was
remember. Yeah.
yeah, solid. All right.
Okay. Would have got 10 points.
So back to a different world of fantasy.
Yes.
we're in Eldraine.
Yes, Card Kingdom, a kingdom of fantastical mythical fairy tales
Yeah.
on cardboard.
And so I know some people who are I know that some enfranchised Magic players have taken to, or even started this way, they're only drafting Throne of Eldraine on MitGo.
Yeah,
Not on Arena.
Yeah, a friend of mine switched to MTGO, and I kind of want to do the same thing. I really like the convenience of Arena.
Me too.
Haven't played MTGO much this. I was playing it earlier in the year. I was playing a bunch of
I
Highlander
played
and
like
streaming it.
one Ravnica Allegiance draft because I was like, I have tickets. I
Right.
should probably use them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Arena so much. But the problem at the moment is that, and we've had issues with the bots, with the draft bots in the past.
This is perhaps the most egregious they've ever been.
This is pretty egregious, which is that the mono blue, or at least the heavy blue,
base blue.
mill deck is really, really prevalent and hard to combat and just demoralizing.
Yeah,
Merfolk Secretkeeper.
I don't mind losing to the deck so much as just like,
I kind of do.
okay, yeah, sure. It's
Only because it happens a lot.
yeah. Well, have you drafted it yourself too?
No.
You haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet?
No.
Okay, see, so there's a reason that you keep running into blue. Your opponents are playing it. It's because like it's kind of easy to draft. Like you won't necessarily get like 4 Secret Keepers and 2 Lucky Clovers or anything, but you know, if you just try to keep the option open, you can you maybe only need 5 cards in your deck that like are part of this mill plan, or like 6 in order to be like, okay, now I can win with this, and I'll just play other stuff that kind of keeps me alive until I draw into this stuff.
So like the thing is, I don't know how the bot's intelligence is programmed.
Right.
But I
Me
do
neither.
I do know that based on what they've said before, that some of it, and part of the reason that it takes a little while for the ranked drafts to hit Arena, is that some of that is pulled from data off MitGo.
Right.
Right. And they'll actually see how people are drafting it.
Right.
And when you have 8 humans in a pod, they're not going to prioritize the Merfolk Secretkeeper or the 1/2 for 1, the
Overwhelmed
library, Overwhelmed Apprentice. They're not going to prioritize those cards very highly. So then the bots are like, cool, we don't care about these cards. But if you're the only human at the table, then it just means that all the pieces of this mill deck are flowing to you if you want them.
Right.
And it's not great. I should
let's be clear.
explain what Merfolk Secretkeeper does, by the way.
Okay,
Sorry.
sure. Let's explain that.
It's a 0/4 Merfolk wizard for a single blue mana, and it has an adventure which is a sorcery also for a single blue called Venture Deeper, and its target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. So you can mill 4 with that. If you get a couple Merfolk Secret Keepers, that's 8. If you have some Didn't Say Please in the deck, you're getting 3 cards plus the spell off of Didn't Say Please. There's the, like you said, the Overwhelmed Apprentice, which is milling for 2. You can do things like using
Runaway together is pretty good.
Runaway together to recycle your Merfolk Secret Keepers.
Or your apprentices in a pinch, but
Yeah.
you get half as much, yeah.
And you just sort of, your whole deck is built around, just making sure that you stay alive and that your opponent runs out of cards.
Yeah, the X4 and X5 common creatures start to look okay. You can play Tome Raider because it helps you dig. You can play Wishing Well to like help you find the cards.
And then like after about turn 5, you just start holding up Didn't Say Please for the rest of the game in case they have a Forever Young.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can beat a Forever Young often because, like, how many creatures are they going to have in their graveyard? It's like 13, 14 tops.
I put 8 cards back on top of my deck with 1.
Did you win that game?
No.
So, like, we didn't mention Lucky Clover yet, or I might have just in passing mentioned it, but, like, if you
Lucky Clover's amazing in, like, most decks, though.
I mean, basically, if you just have Runaway together, Lucky Clover, and a Merfolk Secret Keeper, that's 16 cards from their library. So that's like more than one Forever Young can pull off. I managed to win a mirror last night because of and the opponent, they had a better version of the deck too, but I had a Midnight Clock.
Oh my god.
So yeah, in the several mirrors I played last night while I was on this run to 6 or 7 wins I think on Arena with Secret Keeper, I like won one of them because of Midnight Clock going off and just putting my graveyard back in my library, and I draw 7, so I was like back in the race right away, but I obviously drew some gas too.
Midnight Clock is so good.
In another one of my mirrors, my Midnight Clock got milled, and I was like immediately like, oh, you're not supposed to care about what they mill most of the time. That's like a typical kind of competitive player, like Tenet to holds, like don't worry about the mill
because it's random.
But like when you're playing the mill mirror, it's like, okay, I have cards that matter, and then everything else doesn't. Like you have like 8 to 10 maybe cards that do anything.
Yeah.
So then when they hit your Midnight Clock, you're like, oh, I'm dead.
When I have like my cards that interact with the graveyard, and they hit a mill that hits like my Cauldron's Gift, Forever Young, and my Order of Midnight, I'm just like, oh. Well,
that's tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
you can mill your opponent's Feasting Troll King or Loch Ness Monster. What's it called? The blue-black serpent.
Lochwain Serpent.
Yeah.
To be fair, I did win a game against the mill deck with a Feasting Troll King. That was fun.
That's great. Yeah, if you get a Feasting Troll King, that's one of the ways you can kind of beat the meta right now on Arena.
Yeah, but it's just sort of like, you sit down in the best of ones and everything, and your opponent just goes turn 1, Island, Venture Deeper, and you're like,
right,
okay, because you just feel like you're so far behind already.
Yeah, I mean, if you draft this deck and you play Venture Deeper on turn 1, I mean, it's better on turn 3 after you've played Clover, but if you just play it on turn 1, you'll probably get a non-zero number of games in that run where your opponent just like concedes before they play a land.
This is strategy
because people are getting frustrated. Yeah. You just need to draft some Secret Keepers, but then like not get enough to actually do the thing, but just hard mull to having a first turn Secret Keeper and just try to
go for the tilt win.
Go for the tilt.
It's no way to win a game of Magic, but we count those.
Yeah, exactly. Do this only if you're like on bottom for coins and gems. Yeah. So we should back up more.
Yeah.
And I wanted to explain that this isn't usually a problem. This deck, you were explaining, like the information is grabbed from TGO, where you draft with and play against other humans.
Yeah.
And only one mill deck can successfully be drafted from each pod. And then the way you typically play draft now on MTGO is like you're in this giant room at a Grand Prix where everyone just has to play draft each other, and then play anyone from any other pod, right?
But there should only be leagues. There should only be about one
mill deck for every 8 decks.
For every 8 decks.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or less. And because if 2 people go for it, they
Yeah.
might just like look and see that they only got 1 runaway and 1 Secret Keeper each, and then they just put the Secret Keeper on their board.
So the density on Arena is so much higher.
Right. Because you're drafting with 8 computers or 8 little AIs. Everyone can be that 8th person, and even they stand a better chance at it right now because the bots don't currently know what's up. Now, we're not the only people talking about this, and the Arena team hears about it. So the thing is, though, it's actually I think a difficult challenge for them to address because they also don't want to have the opposite problem where they're like passing mythic rares that are very impactful in a normal game. Like, is the bot gonna have to choose, picking Secretkeeper over like Outlaw's Merriment or Garrick?
That's the thing. I don't know. I don't actually know how you correct this.
It's
when
tricky.
there aren't humans at the table.
Yeah.
Right. I guess you just have to have one bot at the table be like, all right, you're always drafting the mill deck, so that you're always just having to fight someone for it.
That maybe makes sense, but also then it practically ruins the mill deck. Like, it would. The thing is, they made these good mill cards. There is this decent mill deck you can end up with, and that is just part of the value of this limited format. Like, honestly, if it was just every 8 players doing mill and you ran into it once on your run, even if it was like a quite good version of the mill deck every time you saw it, that wouldn't really be the problem.
No, the problem is not
spend an episode of TTC talking about it.
The problem is not that the deck exists, and the problem is not Eldraine Limited. The problem is the ease of putting it together on Arena creates a wildly imbalanced density of this deck that shouldn't happen in the format.
Yeah. It's like on Arena, one of the most exciting things is just how cheaper it is to jump in and draft because your cards aren't associated with any paper cards like they have to be on MTGO. It's like you just get to draft for $5 or like one free one a week, right? But unfortunately, now that we're in Eldraine and like this issue has cropped up at present, that draft is worth quite a bit, relatively less. Like the enjoyment you get out of it is like not as much as you will get out of drafting.
Yeah, the fun of playing your, at worst case 3 rounds of, 3 games of draft is like, it's not worthwhile.
Yeah, so
I assume that they're going to have a fix for this in the very near future.
Yeah, I mean, like your suggestion where there's like the Mill Addict is one of the AIs that you have to fight against, or maybe they could just program in like, okay, if there was a 6th pick Secretkeeper, if a bot picks sees a 6th pick or later Secretkeeper, Clover, didn't say please, whatever the list is, they can just be like, okay, the first one I'm okay passing, but then the second one might push me into Mill, or just they might be aware to like hate draft these pieces that are currently going too high.
Yeah, when they updated the bots, there was a big bot update some time ago, and they said that they were going to sort of have a little more character to the other.
Right, they were supposed to have personalities.
Virtual players at the table, and like some people would like, some of the bots would like favor color. Not to say that like every time you sit down, there's one bot that's always going to try to go red or something, but that that not all the 7 bots at the table with you are identical, which I believe they used to be. I believe that they all had the same sort of programming to them, and now they're more varied.
Right.
So
if it isn't abundantly clear already, this issue is also not an issue when you're drafting against humans.
Yeah.
So we really would still love to see that on Arena. I know it's going to be a while, but it's also hopefully on the dock. I can't remember because they've... In the early days of the beta, they had like kind of promised or suggested some things, but I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, we could segue smoothly here into our reaction to the state of the game. But I don't know if it's something that they're currently working on, if it's currently a priority to get drafting with humans happening.
It was very briefly mentioned in the state of the game for October that like they mentioned 8-player drafts.
Okay.
That's all they say though. So I don't know what that means. Nobody really knows what that means.
It's nice that they to hear them mention it at all.
Yeah.
So because they at time of recording, is it today it came out? Today. We're recording this on October 18th when the state of the game for October came out, and so they're talking about a couple things. One of the big things they're actually talking about is performance, because there's been some complaints, some founded complaints about the performance of the client, which for me has actually always been very smooth, but more recently I've gotten a little more slow down, some FPS problems, and they they identified basically some areas that they want to address, and those are game crashes, which they are monitoring, and they said that they've made changes to have solved this for players with integrated GPUs. Reconnection issues, which is
It's a great thing to get fixed.
they're working on that. I haven't encountered that one myself, but that sounds bad. And then they have identified the problems with frame rate drops and gameplay hitches.
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's like if you're playing and like everything sort of like freezes for a moment, and then if you're like
I
trying
see.
to,
And maybe you click, and then maybe it registers the click in a different spot that you.
yeah. So that and memory allocation they have identified.
Okay. Well, that's all very important too, and not probably as glorious and dramatic as letting us draft with friends. So, good on you for acknowledging the down in the trenches, real computer programming stuff that you need to fix Arena Dev team.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was the right call.
So as part of that, they said that like the friends list, right, which is what people wanted. They said that the friends list would come with the October update, and they've decided to delay that because of focusing on these other things.
Sure.
So
It would be great to see which of my friends were online, so I can conveniently challenge them to a game,
yeah, and
as
I know
opposed
that-
to just having to know.
yeah, you're not the only one who wants that. That's people have been asking about that for
We talked about
a
it
long time,
a bunch
so.
when the state of the game for launch happened, but a few weeks later, does anyone else feel like the launch was a little bit arbitrary? Just like in terms of which features have been rolled out or haven't been rolled out. I remember I was calling for it like 3 months ago, and now I'm like, maybe they should have waited. No comment. No one cares.
What was
That's
that?
fine.
Sorry?
I was just having a shower thought about when the game launched.
When they were like, it was kind
like,
of a
it's
low key
launched
launch.
now.
They were just
Yeah.
like, it's not a beta anymore.
Well, they gave us an animation, and it was like right around the same time as Rotation, right? Like they did it with the release of Eldraine, more or less. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. One could have gone either way for me. I feel like we could have waited till next calendar year. There probably was some internal reason to do that.
I guess, yeah. I don't. It is weird. It felt
Yeah.
weird. It felt like there wasn't very much fanfare. Also,
Sure.
that it was just sort of like.
Yeah, it didn't get its
It's a
own
game
special
now.
event in real life.
Yeah,
that-
I mostly noticed that these articles, their name changed from State of the Beta to State of the Game.
Right.
So
That's the main thing.
the other update from their State of the Game was Brawl. So they've said before
Okay.
that Brawl is coming, and
Should be fun.
with the game update on October 24th, Brawl will be there, and there's a week-long Brawl event with what is it? You can win a copy of 5 rare cards and their respective card styles. These cards were previously only available in Arena through wildcard redemption, as these cards are built for brawling and not found in booster or limited packs. So
Okay.
these are cards from the Brawl decks.
Are the Brawl decks just in the store, do you know?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. But you can maybe craft them, build them.
Yeah, but you get to build your own Brawl deck now, rather
Right.
than using the 4 precons from the courtside Brawl
Right.
event. But
So there'll
then
be a Brawl format option, then you'll have to put your commanders somewhere, I would think, yeah.
But then beyond that week, there's a regular Brawl queue that's only on Wednesdays.
So if you like Brawl and can't play Arena on Wednesday,
It starts at 8 a.m. Pacific and goes for 24 hours. And that's it. There's no it's weird too.
You got to
'cause
rearrange your work schedule to play Brawl and Arena.
Yeah, it's so they just like the standard queues, it's no prizes but no entry fee. So it's just you can just jam Brawl if you want.
Right.
And it still counts towards daily wins and quests and all that. Like it still counts as playing the game, but it doesn't cost you anything. But it also doesn't get you anything. It's just
I wonder if they're
you
just
can play
like-
Brawl if you want.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just like, look, Brawl is more or less ready. We obviously had that special event. It worked. It was fine. But we're still worried that every time we let people play Brawl, it's going to explode the game. So let's only put it on for 24 hours at a time. Mm-hmm. That's my little peanut stand guess about that one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then they also announced how to get showcase cards.
Oh, good.
On
That's
Arena.
exciting.
Yeah.
Cosmetics.
Which is a sort of in the same way that we've had like the each week was a different event, sort of thing. It's the Festival of the Fae.
So that some Eldraine story to be revealed here a little bit, maybe.
I guess so. Yeah. So these have entry fees. These are 500 gems or 200 or 500 gems or 2,500 gold.
Okay.
But you can't.
So half the price of a draft, kind of.
Yeah, but you can't lose out.
Oh, okay.
And after 5, you get 1 card per win, and after 5 wins, that's all 5 cards. So it's you.
You just play until you have 5 wins.
Play until you win 5 games. Yeah.
Okay. So your only barrier is like time. Like if you.
And so the events are, the first one is Standard Artisan, which is building a standard deck using only commons and uncommons.
Oh, okay. We used to call that Peasant.
Yeah.
It's weird that they went with Artisan instead of Peasant, because Peasant's a new creature type.
It's an interesting one, yeah. And then... Oh, they have a screenshot of the first event, by the way, which, if you're curious, the rewards for that one are Merchant of the Veil, Beanstalk Giant, Order of Midnight, Giant Killer, and Brazen Borrower. And there are 4 bans.
Oh, okay. There's already 4 bans in this format.
Persistent Petitioners.
Right.
Cauldron Familiar.
They jumped on that right away, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on the last standard event, Cavalcade of Calamity.
Okay.
If you recall me talking about that deck.
Yep.
And Gates Ablaze.
Okay. They just don't want the gate control deck. That's going to be too good?
I guess. Okay. Interesting.
Weird. Has Artisan Standard showed up already?
No, this is different. This is a new thing to have only, I believe...
Well, good for them.
Unless I missed it.
I mean, good for them for banning Gates Ablaze. I feel like that, to me, maybe we're wrong and it did show up, but to me that sounds like they've done some internal in-house testing of this format, like somehow reached the conclusion by doing like research, playing games, that the Gates deck is too strong and needs to have one less tool.
There was certainly some Gates deck in the 2020 standard events before the actual rotation.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it was also a standard deck last season.
Yeah, and people just gaining like 12 life off of the Archway Angel.
Yeah.
The second Festival of the Fae event is Oko's Madness.
Oh, good.
Which is like Momir's Madness, but
bad.
Your creatures are also 3/3 elks.
So you can discard a card and pay some mana to get a random creature token, but it's always a 3/3 with no abilities?
Or I think, actually, because I think Momir was different from... I think Momir's Madness was different from Momir.
Oh, okay.
So I think this is just every turn you get a 3/3.
Oh.
I think. What was Momir's Madness?
This sounds like the slowest...
Oh, to learn more about these formats, check out our event details
version of Magic ever made.
Here we go. Here's some drilling down.
Let's learn more about Oko's Madness.
So Artisan is exactly what we thought. You can have up to 15 cards in your sideboard if there's a sideboard. I don't think there would be. Limited pre-construct. Oko's Madness. Each player begins the game with a 60-card deck containing only basic lands and an Oko's Whims emblem that has the following abilities. Creatures you control have base power and toughness 3/3 and are elks in addition to their other types. Pay 1, discard a card, create a token that is a copy of a random creature with converted mana cost 8 or less.
Okay.
Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So first of all, 8 or less neatly gets around Zakama and Imperious Great Worm, which were the problems with the last time Momir's Madness was around.
Right, you could just always get those ones or whatever.
You just waited until 9 and then you cast Zakama.
Zakama's going to be pretty nuts against a field of 3/3s, right?
Yeah. Even though it's a 3/3, it still has all the abilities.
Yeah, you just spend 3 to bolt their guys, though, right?
Yeah. So really what you want is any card that enters with counters.
Or can get counters from like landfall or creatures coming into play. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Or like Biogenic Ooze would be pretty great. There's going to be some good creatures in the field, but it's like, if you hit kind of average creatures or creatures whose thing is like maybe a weird activated ability or, an ability that won't work because it's Momir, you're going to end up in this situation where it's just like, okay, everyone has as many 1-mana 3/3s as they want. So the earlier part of the game is just dumping all those out of your hand.
Yeah.
And then smashing them into your opponents and trading all your resources. Right? Mm-hmm. That sounds
fun, probably.
Annoying. But yeah, I mean fun. Yes. Super fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I said fine.
He said fine.
And then the third thing is Cascade, which is they've done before. It's just the first spell you cast each turn has Cascade.
Yeah, which I would have thought was going to be the elf format, but it turned out to be the merfolk format. So if it's in standard now, yeah, we'll see. There'll be some best Cascade deck or a few. That format's pretty fun. I like getting to do random free stuff.
And then beyond those 3 events, of course, there are more adventures with the showcase frames, which it looks like are available across 3 purchasable bundles in the store that are purchasable with gold.
Okay. So do we know if we're going to see just the showcase frames of the adventures, like with the storybook frame? Okay, cool. Because do you know if we already have all of the other card styles otherwise that basically equate to the extended art or the
wide
full bleed?
one?
Yeah, exactly.
So some of those are purchasable, some of those you win, or some of those are on the mastery track, or those are all around, I believe.
So there's some kind of correlation from all the things you can get in a like collector booster to Arena.
So it looks like the alt art showcase frames, some of them, 15 of them you can win through these events that you can buy into with gold.
Okay.
That you can't
free to play.
You can't lose out of.
Right.
And any that aren't in those events you can just buy in the store also with gold.
Right.
So
cool.
And then they've added a teeny little amount of XP to daily wins. So the first 10 wins of each day have 25 XP with them.
Okay.
So you can also get just another quick math 250 experience if you win 10 times in a day. They said
must be nice.
They weren't. Yeah. They said they weren't taking it away. Like there's nothing. They're not taking it away from anything else. They're just adding that another way to get experience.
Try to help people get their mastery trees filled out.
That's cool.
That makes sense. I mean, honestly, from the devs' perspective, they want everyone to fill up their mastery tree every season, and because if you fill it up, it has a high chance, I think, of paying for itself, but it might be kind of like an incentive to buy the gems to pay for the mastery tree. Yeah. Right. So it's like a way to kind of churn some money.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Eldraine Limited anymore, or like what your experiences have been?
So apart from that, right? Like before, up until people realized that it was largely academic to get the mono blue mill.
Right.
I was having a blast.
Okay, cool.
I love it. This format, the Eldraine Limited, separate from Arena, Eldraine Draft is so much fun.
Yeah, I like it.
Holy crap. I guess we're ending on a high note.
Good.
But I was,
well, let's talk about Eldraine Limited on paper, because we talked about it on Arena. By the way, I don't know if I said it already, but just like my last few drafts, I went from like drafting something to be like, okay, I need to draft mono blue, to like, okay, as soon as I open up a pack and every pick I make on Arena, I need to consider that I am the mono blue mill deck. And I'm also, if I'm not the mono blue deck, if I'm not the mill deck, or if I'm the mill deck with something, I need to see every way that any card could have some positive effect, like from my graveyard or just against an 0/4 and that's milling me. So that like really warps your experience, right? Yeah. Okay, but on paper, what favorite archetypes or best decks you've had?
Anything with black, really? Like I know that the red-blue draw 2 cards deck is good, and I want to draft it at some point because it looks super fun when I've played against it, both losing to it and beating it. It looks really fun.
Right.
And I have one deck with a Stolen by the Fae, which is the blue X. Return a creature with converted mana cost X to its owner's hand. You get X 1/1 flying fairies.
Yeah, this is quite a powerful card here.
I got to do that to my own Reaper, the 4/5.
Make them discard 2 cards.
Yeah, so I made them discard, played the Reaper, bounced it to my own hand with Stolen by the Fae, got 7 1/1s, made them discard 2 more cards. That was kind of backbreaking.
So much value.
Yeah, but generally speaking, the deck I find myself in the most is black-green. Just black-green, like mid-range food.
Decent stuff, yeah.
Just it's got good removal, it's got really good creatures, it's got food so you don't die right away, you know.
Sure.
I have not really drafted knights. Now, to be fair, again, I'm only drafting on Arena.
Right.
And this is again before Secretkeeper took over, which has only been in the past week.
Yeah.
But I hadn't really seen the Knights deck on either side of the table, really.
I've played against it, so you can lose to it with the mono blue deck, but you probably won't. Like if they need to have,
you got so many 0/4s.
Yeah, the 0/4s are a problem. Now you can they die to Joust. Every knight has like 2 power.
Yeah.
And so Joust will kill an 0/4. But like just the fact that they have to do that, like they have to spend a removal spell often in like the very early turns in order to get through your guy. And then you're probably all like your filler spots in the deck are also just like 2 mana 1/4 and 5 mana 1/5 and like flying creature you don't care about that chumps and draws you a card. Like these are all just bad news for knights. Like the knights they're under the gun against this mill deck to like really put a lot of power down on the table quickly. Like Brimstone Trebuchet is like maybe kind of too slow.
Wow.
But like Inspiring Veteran is good. Like if your plan is just like 1-drop Inspiring Veteran, then next turn another 1-drop and another Inspiring Veteran, like that'll get through the mill deck.
Yeah, that'll do.
It's like attacking for 16 on turn 4. Like if you can pull that off, great. Or the other thing that's kind of good is Lash of Thorns. Like if you're one of the black decks, and you can just like attack and give your creature Death Touch. And it's only 1 mana, so like kind of clears stuff out. So Lash of Thorns and Joust like both decent, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough beating mono blue with knights because they're just playing on a different access, so they don't have to build a better board than you. Not a lot of burn spells go to the face. The Searing Barrage does.
Oh, that thing's that's a beating.
So like if
5 damage to a creature and 3 damage to the face.
Yeah, so that can maybe lead to some wins from a red aggressive deck.
What is that on the card?
It's supposed to be the Sea Serpent, right?
Oh, it is. It
Yeah.
emerged from the colded steps of Lochmere only to face the fires of Iron Crag. Oh, Lochmere Serpent.
Lochmere Serpent, that's what I was thinking of.
Lochmere Serpent. Right.
Yeah.
Whichever one's meant to be Loch Ness.
Yeah. Clearly.
Oh, it is Lochmere Serpent. Look at that. I love the glowing eyes under the water.
Yeah, it's
That's my favorite part.
really, really solid art by Sam.
Yeah.
Burley there. Thank you. Also, this card's just a ridiculous bomb. Like you can, and I almost did beat a mill deck with this. You only need to attack 3 times. They almost never gain any life. So yeah, you can just make your whole plan getting in with
Get Lochmere Serpent into play.
Yeah.
And hit 3 times.
Activate blue ability. Yeah. I mean, they have Runaway Together. We already talked about that. Gets in your way. They're probably playing So Tiny. And so that gets in your way too.
They're probably going to end up with 5 cards in their graveyard if you need to bring it back to your hand.
Well, that's like the best thing about it. If they mill it, you can still probably get it back because, there's stuff jump blocks, and you're blue, so you might even be on mill as well.
If you do play blue, I mean, even if you don't, there's some cards that even if you don't play blue, this works for. Fizzling and Adventure is just the greatest feeling. It feels like you got 2 cards worth of value out of it.
Well, like that's the wild thing. Like these, so I had my most recent paper draft. I ended up like green-white adventure pump spells, basically. Yeah, and like, these cards when they don't get fizzled, it's like these cards are just there's so much gas, right? You're already used to playing in limited where you're like filling out your curve with like a 4 mana 3/2 and a 2 mana 2/1 just because you need them for your curve. But then these are also pump spells. It's like you have like. You're playing like 32 spells or something. It's weird.
Also, in speaking of adventure cards, Edgewall Innkeeper, the 1/1 for a single green, that when you play a creature that has an adventure, you draw a card.
Yeah.
I had 2 of them in one deck, and I was just popping off.
Nice.
It was ridiculous. Like I ended up with so much mana that I drew like the Lonesome Unicorn, and I was like, okay, cool. We'll make a 2/2, then we'll play a 3/3 with Vigilance, and then I'll draw 2 cards, and because we were in this board stall that I just had to go wider than they could,
right?
And that helped. That was a pretty big help. The food is about where I figured it would be after the first couple dabbles with draft, which is that they definitely make some games go longer, but not. It's not the food. This is generally speaking a slow format that can lead to some very grindy games. The food is not the reason for that.
Right. I would tend to agree with that. Like when you're playing a typical creatures on creatures game, maybe battling for air supremacy or just trying to get the most decent attack together, kind of typical game of Magic. If your opponent has incidentally created 1 or 2 food tokens, it's probably not going to wildly throw your game off because, like, even though they might be able to gain 6 life, they probably still have to make some kind of block if you manage to Alpha Strike.
Yeah.
That's giving up some of their resources, so you're not necessarily worried about them cracking back. You do need to consider it, though.
Yeah, there's definitely
I think
games
there's
that
food-related punts that happen.
There's definitely food that the food definitely can make certain games go longer than they would have otherwise. But I think just the format would be slow even without it, just by the nature of the creatures and spells that are in the format.
Right.
But I did get a game where I got Golden Goose down on turn 1.
Oh, nice.
And then I made so much food over the course of that game.
Yeah.
Because it's like I didn't have a 2-drop, so I was like, all right, turn 2, make another food. So on turn 3, I now have 2 food already, and then I played
a 4-drop or something, yeah.
no, turn 3 was I had 2 Tempting Witch in this deck.
Okay, great.
So played Tempting Witch. Cool. Now I have
Tempting Witch, really solid card.
Yeah,
yeah.
now
That
I
card's
have
overperformed.
3 food.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Tempting Witch is it's 2 and a black for a 1/3 witch. ETB, you get a food, and for 2 and tap and sack of food. It's a human warlock, actually, is the creature type. Sorry. For 2 and tap and sack of food, instead of you gaining 3 life, target player, which I guess could be you, but it's generally your opponent, loses 3 life.
Reverse food.
And that adds up.
Yeah.
It really adds up. You can just be like, cool. You can be in a situation where this is unlikely, but it was end of turn. It was end of their turn. They were at 12, and I had 2 Tempting Witches and 3 food. So I was like, all right, end of turn, sack food, you're at 6, untap, and I drew a thing that made another food. And I was like,
get a curious pair,
cool.
kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very silly.
Losing 3 life is more powerful than gaining 3 life. We've learned this time and again, and you need to, make cards cost mana such that it's more valuable to make someone lose 3 life usually.
Yeah.
If for 1 mana you should get to gain more than 3 life, and we've seen that now.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, for Eldraine Limited, I'm very much enjoying it when it's not mono blue mill everywhere.
Can I drag out your conclusion just a little bit more? I just wanted to talk about food a tiny bit because I
Briefly,
haven't.
I gotta take
You gotta
off.
go. I'm sorry. Okay,
No, go for it.
Just real quick, between Curious Pair and the card that's 6 mana and make 3 1/1s, and I don't know what's another common one. There's the Witch, and there's
the 4/4 with trample.
Right.
That
Okay.
one's very good.
So the Witch Stalker to me seems like a fun card. I would usually just take the 4/4 with trample.
Yeah.
But then there's these other cards that
that
make
are mediocre
food
by
and
themselves,
on their own they barely do anything, and I haven't brought myself to pick them, but there's these decks that play a whole bunch of food that seem good. If you get a Giant Opportunity or 2 Tempting Witches, then suddenly they go up in value. But are there any of these cards that make food that you would pick early because you like being in green black food? Sorry, deep question here.
I don't.
He's late for his thing and I made him think.
No, I don't think there's any that are that unplayable.
No, yeah. Curious Pair is
Yeah.
not a terrible card, and neither's 3 Little Piggies.
Yeah.
It's not. Neither of them are good.
I still haven't played Wolf's Quarry yet.
Okay, Wolf's Quarry. Yeah.
I still haven't actually played
It's a 6-drop.
Yeah.
It might be unplayable.
I don't know. I definitely really like being in green black in this format, so I don't know if I have a objective answer for that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully by next week
good
you
question.
will
Yeah,
go out
maybe
there
I will.
and eat those 3 Little Piggies and see if they're tasty. I'm curious.
Yeah.
And maybe even by the next time you see Tap Tap Concede, there'll be a bot that's taking the Secret Keepers. So the format will be more fun.
Yeah.
Because if you're drafting just to beat one deck and only thinking about one deck, it does kind of, it makes the draft
Maybe
a
I'll play
little
on
different.
That's going to do it for Tap Tap Concede for this week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR. Let them know we sent you. Ask for a button. It says, I don't think we can lose this game. And also, the show is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Please subscribe to this channel. Until next time, I'm Graham.
I'm Nelson.
James was on tech this week. Heather gets these online. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.